schools of traders are watching for possible trade entries, which increases the chances of a possible reversal. Again, if you need a refresher, check out our past videos. Now, there are 3 variations to the divergence plus key area RSI strategy. Type 1 is divergence at a key level. This uses only one time frame. Type 2 is candlestick price action at a key level and divergence inside of those candlesticks on the lower time frame. This type uses 2 time frames. And type 3, which is divergence at a key level and then looking for a trend change inside of the leg 2 head. This type uses 2 time frames as well. So let's start with type 1, which is divergence forming at a key level or area. Again, type 1 involves using only one time frame. Also, you can find these setups on any time frame you choose to trade with. So you look left and noticed that when price came up to this area, it hit and reversed drastically, making this a key level of resistance. So you had it drawn in. Now, as price came back up, for candlestick and resistance traders, there were multiple entry points for short trades. But now, as a divergence trader, once you noticed this wide divergence form right at key resistance, you would apply your trend line like this. And once price broke it with this bearish momentum candle is when you would start looking for trade entries short. This also shows why you should never chase trades, as there's always another trade opportunity coming up. So let's show this again going the other way. You look left and spotted this key area here where price reversed from drastically. And it is also the lowest point that price has reached in recent time. So you had it drawn in. Now, as price came back down, not only did you have a reaction to this level, to the candle with the wick sticking out, you also had a great wide divergence form. Again, a reaction does not equal a trade. So you put a trend line onto the immediate trend like this, and once price broke through the trend line, it shows that buyers actually stepped in at this level. Then you would go to the lower time frames and start looking for trade entries long. So let's do the same thing except with tight divergence. Again, key support level because price hit and reversed from here drastically. As price came back down, you had tight divergence form right at this key level of support. So switching to the line chart, again, price made a lower low while the RSI made a higher low, showing a clear tight divergence. So let's jump back. You then place your trend line on top of the current trend. And when price breaks the trend line, the support level and tight divergence are confirmed, meaning buyers actually stepped in at this level. And this is when you would look for trade entries long. So again, you had your drastic reversal, which gave you your key support. Price came down and formed a tight divergence. Key trend line applied through these multiple touch points, and once price broke through, the divergence and support level is confirmed, and you would then look for long entries. So right now in the market, the Euro Kiwi is creating one of these patterns. You had your key resistance and swing high level here through these multiple reversals. Tight divergence has formed. So we put a trend line onto the immediate trend like this, but there is no trade unless price breaks through this trend line, because again, price can continue up. Now, type 1 of the RSI divergence strategy is a great foundational strategy, but we personally do not trade using only one time frame because it doesn't give us enough data and insight. So let's take this up a notch and move on to type 2 of the RSI divergence strategy, which is identifying candlestick patterns at a key level or area and looking for divergence inside of those candlesticks on the lower time frame. So before we continue, a question we often get asked is, how do we create and edit our YouTube videos? And how did we grow our channel so fast? If you want to learn exactly how we do it all, head on over to our website at wisetrade.com and we'll show you how to do this step by step. Now, type 2 uses 2 time frames, and you can use any combination of time frames you want, as it all depends on your style, and we'll discuss this further. So first, we're going to break down the premise of this strategy, and then we'll go through it more in depth. This here is the 12-hour time frame, which we really like using for medium-term trades, So we noticed these 2 points here where price reversed from drastically, which gave us support, and we had it drawn in. Now, as price came back down to this level of support, you had no idea what would form. You were waiting to see if there would be candlesticks forming. When price got to this area, you had multiple candlesticks with long wicks sticking out, showing that price is indeed reacting to this level. So most people would enter long right away. But again, that would be guessing, because price can react and stall at a key level and still break right through. So what do? We need to look inside of these candlesticks on the lower time frame to see if there is price action that shows us that a trend change is occurring. This is very key. Before you look inside of these candlesticks, you have no idea what you will find. That is what price action is in a nutshell, which is reacting to what you see and not guessing the direction of a trade. So let's bring up the 4-hour time frame and put it beside this one. Again, here on your left is the 12-hour time frame we just looked at, and here on the right is the same asset we are looking at, but using the lower time frame, specifically the 4-hour time frame, meaning each candlestick represents 4 hours of time. This support level is the same support level here. This downtrend here is the same downtrend here. Now, here's the key. You identified your long wick candlesticks at key support here, but it wasn't enough data for a trade entry. So you looked inside of those candlesticks on the lower time frame to see what you had. And this is what you found. Great divergence that formed inside of the long wick candlesticks. This is a high quality trade now. Also, notice how on the 12-hour time frame, you couldn't put a trend line onto the immediate trend because the swings weren't wide enough. But here on the 4-hour time frame, you can easily place a trend line onto the immediate trend. Again, you were waiting for a breakout, which you got through the momentum candle that then confirms the divergence and the candlesticks and the level of support. And that is when you would start looking for trade entries long using the lower intraday timeframes. So let's show this again. So before we continue, we want to answer a question you probably have, which is what time frame combinations to use. Again, don't forget to leave your questions and comments below. So the answer to this question is simple. Any combination of time frames works, as it all depends on your style and speed of trade. And this is why we are going to show you all the different time frame combinations. Now, for our members and us, we follow very specific time frame combinations. But that's because it suits our strategy the best. But for you as a trader, choose a time frame combination that best suits your strategy and your speed of trade. So let's get back into it. So this is the daily time frame. You again spotted these 2 reversal points, giving you your key level of resistance. So as price came back up, you had this candle here with the wick sticking out, showing a reaction to the level. It's at this point that you would look inside of this candle and start watching the lower time frames and wait to see if you would get a trend change. So let's put the 4-hour time frame beside this one. Same resistance level, same uptrend, and the area here we were looking at on the daily, it's the same area here on the 4-hour time frame. You had your clear divergence here and a great wedge pattern forming, so you had it drawn in. Then, once you had your break out of the wedge on the bottom side and price making a lower low, the divergence is confirmed, and you would start looking for short trade entries on the lower intraday timeframes. So we'll cover all the trading patterns in depth in a future video. So let's show this again. This is the 8-hour time frame. You identified your key reversal point here where price shot up from, so you had your support level drawn in. As price came back down, you had your inside bar candle with the wick sticking out the top, showing a reaction to the level of support. So after you spotted this, you would then want to look inside of these candlesticks and inside of this area. So let's pull up the 4-hour time frame and put it side by side. Same support level, same downtrend. And these candlesticks and area here is the same area right here. Now, notice how inside of your candlesticks, you had this great tight divergence forming. Let's pull up the line chart so you can see it more clearly. Again, price made a lower low while the RSI made a higher low. So it's clear divergence. So jumping back. You then again put your trend line onto the immediate trend. And once you had your breakthrough as confirmation, you would then start looking for trade entries long using the lower intraday timeframes. So let's show type 2, but with trend trades. This here is on crypto and the 12-hour time frame. You had a clear moving uptrend here. Reversal point here that gave you your key level. Now, as price reached this area, you had multiple candlesticks reacting to the level. The 50 EMA also lines up perfectly with this level. So again, we want to look inside of this area. So let's bring up the 4-hour time frame. Same key level, same downtrend. And this area here is this area here. Again, clear divergence at the key level. Trend line placed above, and once you had your break, you would start looking for trade entries long as your directional bias is confirmed. So one more. Here's the daily time frame. This was your clear moving uptrend. Key level here because of these two reversal points. So after we had these two perfect long wick candles reacting to the level, we wanted to look inside of them to see